Alright, this is going to be the 5th time I've tried to record this video for today, so I'm going to try to keep this short in the hopes that I can get this successfully uploaded. A lot of stuff's been happening. I'm actually talking with several Wired contributors right now. Exciting stuff. For the most part, I'm just trying to chat them up right now just to see if I can, get in their good graces a little bit. But I want you guys to know, if I get the opportunity to kind of plant the idea in their heads about writing something about this, I'll let them be the author that breaks it. I'm not going to do this in a way that I want to be the person who writes this piece. If I can get somebody respected to go after this, I think I would do better by you guys. So I will let them try it first, okay? So I'm thinking about you here. But like I said, that's still kind of iffy. I mean, I'm still just trying to talk to them a little bit and kind of, work my way in. So don't expect too much out of that for a while. I have been acknowledged by Lessig on Twitter, so that's exciting because he's one of my idols anyway. And for him to actually have mentioned to me on Twitter, that's just a big deal for me. So hopefully there's some stuff in the works. Like I said, I will abdicate my authorship in order to get you guys, out in the world. Now, I'm going to basically structure this lecture. I can't believe I still have to keep doing this, but I've still got so many people who are like, this is never going to happen. We don't deserve this recognition. Blah, blah, blah. How many times am I going to have to fight this war with you? Because you're wrong. Now, I'm going to go about this. I'm going to try to argue it this way this time. In poetry, there was an artistic movement, and this was both poetry, painting, anything that you can imagine. In poetry, there was a movement called the High Modernist movement. A lot of people consider this to be one of the most important eras in poetic history. This included poets like T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, William Butler Yeats. These are big guys. These are famous guys. In fact, a lot of people say that T.S. Eliot is one of the greatest English poets that ever lived. Now, let me explain to you what these guys did in their poetry and why it was so important to you. What T.S. Eliot did was he wrote a poem called The Wasteland. And The Wasteland is a brilliant example of high modernism at its most aggressive. The Wasteland is literally nothing more than a collected batch of literary references and remixed quotes and foreign languages and obscure mythological stories. And he takes all this stuff, right? And he tells his personal story through all these different referenced pieces. And the thing is he changes them all. And he moves things around and he rephrases it. It's literary remix. And it was considered one of the most important things ever done in poetry. It was huge. And the funny thing is that, if you think about it, it has a lot in common with what you guys do when you make reference, when you remake something in your own way. I mean, when you read The Wasteland, it's so difficult to understand it because this is what Eliot was trying to do. He was trying to demonstrate and show you his expertise by saying, I know all this stuff. And I have all this information that I can use when I write poetry, and you probably can't even understand it, you dumb little insignificant human. Not the most humble artistic medium, but again, people hold this stuff in high regard to this day. T.S. Eliot is still considered a genius, Now, it's interesting because we also do this in academia. And you could even say that this is also the basis of a part of journalism as well. You take someone else's work, you quote it, you analyze it, you put it in a different perspective, you break it apart, you remake it. It's all remix. It's just all playing out in a different place than where you guys are taking it. Now, the funny thing is you guys take this remix concept and you do something completely different with it. I mean, you take it to the extreme. And this, I believe, is one of the biggest obstacles you guys face. And I'm going to leave you with a little bit of an assignment that I want you guys to consider. Now, the problem is that for you, the sources don't tell a story. For Eliot, what he was trying to do was he was trying to show the ruin of the 20th century. He was trying to show just how far humanity had fallen. And he does it in the language of the past. He does it in the old stories. It was beautiful for that reason. You guys will tell simple stories sometimes, but it's like you don't have any real statement to give to the world. That's something you guys have to try to get over a little bit. Here's one way you could do it, and here's my little homework assignment for you. If I can see some good examples of this, I will totally promote it, and I will throw it all over Twitter, and I'll introduce it, and I'll use this work as my aggressive expansion when I'm talking to people about it. But here's what I want to see from you guys. One, if you could take a popular singer, like, let's say, this is really lame, but if you could take Lady Gaga and take her banal, twisted, flat, shallow crap and remix her to the point that it recreates one of Beethoven's symphonies, a movement from it, that'd be pretty tight. It doesn't even have to be the whole symphony. It can just be a piece of it. And I'll give you guys some recommendations on this because I have a particular symphony that I think would work really well with this project. But do you see how that makes a statement? You're taking the garbage of Lady Gaga and you're remaking it into something completely different, into a context that it absolutely doesn't belong, right? Here's another thing I want you to consider. If you could take the words of a politician or a group of politicians and remix them to the point that it sounds like they're coherently arguing the exact opposite thing that they stand for, or argue for stuff that is just so out there and ridiculous, that's beautiful too. That's a political commentary, and that's a political point. So that's my two challenges. Remaking the pop star shallow crap into something classical, or doing something with political discourse. If any of you could do that in a really, really good way, I honestly believe you could take that viral. It's something that could completely sweep the nation. It would be something that people would be like, whoa, you know? So I want you to take your skills and think about applying them in a way that it says something, that it actually makes a statement. Now, it's difficult, but I would love to see something like that. Now, here's the thing. I've been getting a lot of messages from you guys. I promise you, I'm doing everything I can to promote you and to try to respond to the conversations that I'm getting. I just took the letter from one of you remix artists out there, put it up on my blog, and I tagged it with Lawrence Lessig on Twitter. I'm hoping he'll see it, and I'm hoping he'll make a comment on it. That would be pretty cool. But the more feedback I get, the more ammunition I have to tell people about you and to do more. So please keep talking to me, because that only helps me out. So even though it takes me forever, and for some of you I might not be able to get to you at all, keep it coming. I appreciate the input and the discussions that we're having. I'll be online. I'll do my best to keep in contact with as many people as I can. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks, guys. More to come soon.